I'm dressed on theme today because I'm wearing this white shirt and her folklore buns and mirror ball earrings. I hope you like it. Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about my favorite Taylor Swift album, Folklore. We're just going to talk about the cultural impacts of it, the impact in her career, why I love it, and go through all the songs and decipher their meanings and decipher their lyrics. This album is especially important to me because it reignited my love for Taylor Swift. So I've been a Taylor Swift fan since her first album came out, literally for my whole life. And I loved every album up until 1989, and then she dropped Reputation, and you could say I was not ready for it. I just remember hearing the sound and I was like, I just don't like the darkness. I don't like how this sounds, like the production. It wasn't for me at the time. I've grown to love it, but at the time I was like, I don't love this anymore. I still listen to her old music. I never hated her because of the whole Kanye thing. I was always on her side through that. I always loved her. I was just like, this album is not for me. Didn't go to the Reputation tour, which I now regret, but I couldn't at the time. And then Lover came out in August, I think, of 2019. And I remember hearing a couple songs from that and also being like, I don't think this is for me either. I did love the song Lover, and to be fair, I didn't give the whole Lover album a chance. I wish I did, but whatever. Now I love it. So Taylor had a Lover Fest tour planned. It got canceled because of COVID. And then on July 4th, 2020, Taylor drops a surprise album called Folklore. So she just posted that day, I'm surprise dropping an album at midnight, and because I'm on the West Coast, it came out at 9 p.m. for me, and I remember playing it at 9 p.m. and being like, oh my god, she is back. So I listened to that album literally non-stop ever since it came out for the past 4 years. So this is the first album that hasn't been completely autobiographical. She wrote a lot of stories about different people, hence why the album is called Folklore, which is really cool and was really different for her. And I think it explored her storytelling skills really, really well, and her talent with writing stories through songs was really shown in this album. And it did take me a really, really long time to fully and deeply understand everything, which I feel like I do now, and now I feel like I'm equipped to make this video. But I do want to say, before I dive into anything, she talks about the meaning of each song in the Disney Plus Long Pond Studio Folklore session. So I highly recommend watching that if you want to hear her explain everything. That really is what made me love Folklore, because she's never just gone through each song of an album and explained what it was about or her thoughts behind it. And I just thought it was so fascinating and really made me appreciate it. So what stood out to me immediately, which is why I really liked it, was the sound. And this is the first album that she worked with Aaron Dessner from The National and Bon Iver on, and just their production and impact on it just made it stand out to me and love it so much. It's much more like indie instead of like the hardcore pop that Reputation was. And it just was such a different sound for her, and I think it really made her come back, and a lot more people started listening to her because of this album, and I truly deeply think that it was the best thing she could have done for her career. So this is how it came to be, apparently, from her words. Obviously she was planning on doing Loverfest, and then it got canceled. And then during the pandemic, she just started writing, and she was dating Joe Alwyn at the time, and he's really into writing songs, so they wrote a bunch of the songs together, which is super interesting. And I believe that Aaron Dessner and Jack and Bon Iver worked on the back tracks and then just sent them to her, and she sang the lyrics over them, which I think is a really cool way to make music. And obviously, since it was during the pandemic, they were never in the same studio. They were all in their own homes across the country. Taylor literally recorded her vocals in her home in LA, which is so funny, and she's never done that before. So now let's talk about the aesthetics behind the album. So if you don't know, Taylor really likes to change her aesthetic for each album, giving it a really distinct color palette, style, like I said, aesthetic that's associated with the album. So this is the Folklore photo shoot, and it's black and white, and all the photos were taken in a forest. It's very cottagecore. When she was describing it, she's like, I feel like I'm walking through the woods with a candle and writing with a quill pen and ink. This for sure is one of my favorite aesthetics she's ever done, because I just love cottagecore, and I just think the photo shoot is so amazing and really captures the vibe behind the album. I also highly recommend owning physical copies of albums you really like, because I think it's just completes the art, if that makes sense. And this one doesn't have it, but a lot of her albums have like forewords, and she like writes something about the album in that, so that's really cool. And then all the albums have the official lyrics. And I think that's really important, because obviously the official lyrics are really important, but also punctuation is really important to see how she wanted to get an idea across. So there's 2 LPs in here. It's a gatefold, and each album is in these, which have photos and lyrics. And it's just the prettiest vinyl ever. It's beige. It just matches the vibe, you know? And this is the photo on the second LP. Really foggy in a field vibe. I also love this album. I love putting it on vinyl. It's just like an album because all of the songs kind of, I don't want to say sound the same, but they have the same mood. So you can just play the whole album and you don't have to skip anything. And I think that's also why it's my favorite Taylor Swift album, because it literally has no skips. I think every single song is a masterpiece, and this is the only album that I feel that way about. I'm not going to play the songs in this video because of copyright restrictions, but I'm going to go through them and go through all the lyrics and what they mean and what I love about the songs. So the first song on Folklore is called The One, and I think at the time she didn't really give much explanation to the album. So myself, and I feel like a lot of other people, were trying to figure out how these songs fit into her life and who they were about in her life, but a lot of them, hence the name of the album, were folklore, so they're just like tales that she made up. The One is a breakup song, and it's about someone who's healing over the breakup, but they still have wounds from it, and they still miss the person. I think this track is so iconic because it's called The One, and it's the first song on the album. It also starts with the lyrics, "I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit." And this just has so much meaning to it, because obviously you can apply it to the context of the song, which is a breakup, but you also can apply it to Taylor saying that to her listeners, saying, I'm doing good, I'm like, it's during a pandemic, but like I'm writing music and I'm on some new shit, as in I'm writing a completely different genre of music. Then it says, been saying yes instead of no. Again, that could be in the context of the breakup, like now you're going out and doing more things with friends, or Taylor's like, yeah, I'm gonna write an indie album. Okay, I'll do something different. I thought I saw you at the bus stop. I didn't though. I think that always happens when you're going through a breakup. Like, you think you see them, like someone that resembles them, so it's kind of saying this person's still in the back of the writer's mind. I hit the ground running each night. I hit the Sunday matinee. You know, the greatest films of all time were never made. So that's a metaphor for a relationship. And we see another lyric more similar to a relationship later in the song that references this. But it's saying, you know, the greatest films of all time were never made. So like the greatest relationships never worked out, essentially. I guess you never know. And if you wanted me, you really should have showed. And if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow. I love this lyric so much. It genuinely means so much to me. This whole song, honestly, is just so relatable. And it's so funny because this didn't really happen until like after she released it, but I was like, this is my song, like, did she read my diary? But I love, and if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow, because it's just such a positive lyric if you're going through something really hard, or if you've just been through something really hard. It's kind of showing that you're gonna grow from it and it's gonna be okay, and if these bad things don't happen to you, you're never gonna like develop as a person. And it's all right now, but we were something, don't you think so? So this person is reminiscing on the relationship. Roaring 20s, tossing pennies in the pool. Roaring 20s, I think, just means like having a really fun, extravagant time, tossing pennies in the pool. And if my wishes came true, so it's when you toss a penny in like a fountain and you make a wish, it would have been you. So again, this person is just still missing their past relationship. In my defense, I have none for never leaving well enough alone, but it would have been fun if you would have been the one. So they're saying like, I should leave this alone, but I can't, because I still wish that you were the one. The next verse is, I have this dream you're doing cool shit, having adventures on your own. You meet some woman on the internet and take her home. So this is kind of showing that the person has moved on and is wishing the best from their last relationship, but again, we know that they miss them. We never painted by the numbers, baby, but we are making it count. You know, the greatest loves of all time are over now. So this is referencing the past lyric that she changed. I love when she does this, when she writes a really similar lyric, but you know it's like a play on the last one. And so instead of the greatest films of all time were never made, it's the greatest loves of all time are over now. I guess you never know, and it's another day of waking up alone, which is what a single person feels like, especially after a relationship when they were used to waking up with this person every day. So it just repeats the chorus again, and then in the bridge, I love this bridge so much. I persist and resist the temptation to ask you, if one thing had been different, would everything be different today? And that is just so real, because I feel like after a breakup, you're like, did I say something that like caused this? Is there something I could have done to do better? Like, should I have done something differently? And it's just that like cyclical thoughts that you have about it, but it's so unnecessary because that's just gonna make you spiral and doesn't change anything about the past. And then there's another chorus with different lyrics. So it's, we were something, don't you think so? Rosé flowing with your chosen family. And it would have been sweet if it could have been me. In my defense, I have none for digging up the grave another time. So again, she's like, can't let this go. She can't let it die. She's like digging up the grave, still thinking about it, still thinking about what went wrong. But it would have been fun if you would have been the one. And I just think this is one of the most perfect breakup songs she's ever written. It's just from a super interesting angle too, because it's not like all too well like devastating breakup song. It's like you're kind of in denial. You like think you're past it, but like you still miss the person. So the song was written by Aaron and Taylor, and it was produced by Aaron. The next song is Cardigan, which I believe was the single off of this album. She has a music video that's great. It was also written by Aaron and Taylor and produced by Aaron. And this song is actually part of a 3-song triangle. So it is Cardigan, Betty, and August. And Taylor came up with these characters, and she had a really fun time writing all these songs from different characters' perspective. So this song, Cardigan, is essentially from Betty's perspective about James. And when I talk about Betty, this will make more sense. But it's funny because people don't think that she just made this up. People think like it somehow stemmed from something in her life, but when she talks about it, she said she just made up a teenage love triangle and wrote songs about them, and they're all great. So the first verse is vintage tea, brand new phone, high heels on cobblestones, when you are young, they assume you know nothing, sequin smile, black lipstick, sensual politics, when you are young, they assume you know nothing. And a lot of people interpret this verse very differently. To me, I think she's saying opposites. Vintage tea, brand new phone, opposites, high heels on cobblestones. Like, high heels do not work with cobblestones. So I think it just means she's like saying two things that don't go together, and like maybe these people don't go together. When you are young, they assume you know nothing, but I knew you. Dancing in your Levi's, drunk under a streetlight. I knew you. Hand under my sweatshirt, baby, kiss it better. And when it felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. So this is the person who, in this case, is Betty, talking about their relationship, how close they were, certain memories that they had together, and how she felt like really sad and unworthy, and he put her on and said he was her favorite. This is another verse that's really short. A friend to all is a friend to none. Chase 2 girls, lose the one. When you are young, they assume you know nothing. And I think a friend to all is a friend to none is an interesting phrase that a lot of people use, because it means you're not like loyal to someone. Chase 2 girls, lose the one, meaning he's chasing this other girl, Augustine. Chasing the other girl, the girl in August. So James was chasing the girl in August and Betty in the song Cardigan. And it goes into another chorus, but I knew you, playing hide and seek and giving me your weekends. I knew you, your heartbeat on the high line, once in 20 lifetimes. And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. So again, playing hide and seek, giving me your weekends. I think that means they spent all of their weekends together. Heartbeat on the high line, maybe that's like a memory that they had on the high line. Once in 20 lifetimes, meaning this is the one, like loves like this don't happen regularly. And another offensively amazing bridge. To kiss in cars and downtown bars was all we needed. You drew stars around my scars, and now I'm bleeding. I love that so much. So obviously she's saying she was really hurt by someone, and he drew stars around her scars, meaning he made her feel better. He made her trust people again. But now I'm bleeding. So he was good to her, and they were in a healthy relationship. And this part kind of goes into the breakup of the song. So I knew you stepping on the last train marked me like a blood stain, meaning it didn't work out. I knew you tried to change the ending, Peter losing Wendy. Offensive. I knew you leaving like a father, running like water. Like, excuse me? This should be illegal. It's so offensive. And when you are young, they assume you know nothing, but I knew you'd linger like a tattoo kiss. I knew you'd haunt all of my what ifs. The smell of smoke would hang around this long. This one is really interesting because she talks about smoke a lot in all of her songs. If you know her discography well, it's in The Black Dog. I knew everything when I was young. I knew I'd curse you for the longest time, chasing shadows in the grocery line. Again, I think that's kind of like the lyric, I thought I saw you at the bus stop, I didn't though, where she sees like someone that resembles your ex and you like have to do a double take. I knew you'd miss me once the thrill expired, and you'd be standing on my front porch light, and I knew you'd come back to me. And when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. So basically in this song, this is the story. So this girl, Betty, is dating James. James goes away for the summer and cheats on her with the girl from August. So I think this is about her losing his trust, and then in the song Betty, he comes back to Betty and apologizes. So I think this is that whole story from her perspective, which is really cool. And it's just so beautiful. It's a fan favorite. So number 3, we have The Last Great American Dynasty, which I love. I am a stan for this song, and it's such an interesting story because the song is about this woman named Rebecca Harkness who owned Taylor Swift's Rhode Island house before her. Taylor Swift bought the house after her, and Taylor said that she always wanted to write a song about Rebecca, but she never like felt that it fit right on an album, or that like production that she had done just fit right with the song. And Folklore was just the perfect album to have this song on, because again, the name Folklore implies that the songs are about other people or just like different stories. And this song is interesting because there are a lot of parallels between Rebecca Harkness and Taylor Swift, and how the town around them in Rhode Island perceived them. So Rebecca was married to this really rich man who came from an oil family named Bill, and the town did not like Rebecca because she wasn't like a conventional woman at the time. She didn't follow the normal standards that the town was used to. She threw a lot of parties, she was loud. They honestly thought she was crazy. And obviously Taylor feels that way because she's so famous. She comes to this town and like disrupts the town, and people are upset at how much traffic and paparazzi and all the attention that she's bringing to that town. And that's just why I love this song so much, because of the parallels between them. It's so interesting, and it's just one of the best storytelling songs she's ever wrote. It's just so descriptive, and you can literally perfectly picture it while putting it in like such a catchy song that just sounds so great. So let's go through the lyrics. Rebecca rode up on the afternoon train. It was sunny. Her saltbox house on the coast took her mind off St. Louis. So she's from St. Louis. The saltbox house on the coast is the holiday house that Taylor lives in now. Bill was the heir to the Standard Oil name and money, and the town said, how did a middle-class divorcee do it? The wedding was charming, if a little gauche. There's only so far new money goes. They picked out a home and called it Holiday House, so that is the house that Taylor lives in now. Their parties were tasteful, if a little loud. And Taylor has parties now, like big 4th of July parties there. The doctor had told him to settle down. It must have been her fault his heart gave out. And this is interesting because I think at the time, a lot of people just blamed everything wrong about the man on his wife. So Taylor is just describing them as the way that the town saw them. And they said, there goes the last great American dynasty. Who knows if she never showed up, what could have been? There goes the maddest woman this town has ever seen. She had a marvelous time ruining everything. So again, they're saying that this woman ruined this American oil dynasty, and she was just so crazy and so loud, and she ruined the town. Rebecca gave up on the Rhode Island set forever, flew in all her bitch pack friends from the city. This is interesting because she actually called her friends the bitch pack, like that was their friend group name, which is so funny. Filled the pool with champagne and swam with the big names, and blew through the money on the boys in the ballet. I'm losing on card game bets with Dolly. So this is just really cool. I love how she's describing her parties. Like, I feel like you can just picture it. And they said, there goes the last great American dynasty. Who knows, if she never showed up, what could have been? There goes the most shameless woman this town has ever seen. She had a marvelous time ruining everything. So it just says the chorus again. And then here's the bridge, which is amazing. They say she was seen on occasion pacing the rocks, staring out at the midnight sea. And in a feud with her neighbor, she stole his dog and died at a Key Lime Green. 50 years is a long time. Holiday House sat quietly on the beach, free of women with madness, their men and bad habits, and then it was bought by me. And I love that because now the song switches to Taylor's perspective. So it says, who knows if I never showed up, what could have been? There goes the loudest woman this town has ever seen. I had a marvelous time ruining everything. And then it goes into a really beautiful outro of her saying, I had a marvelous time ruining everything. It's such a cool song, and I feel like it really hasn't been done before, and like this type of song really isn't popular. And then we have Exile featuring Bon Iver, and this song is incredible. And it's the perfect duet because it was written to be a duet. It's not just a song that Taylor wrote that he came and sang on. It literally has their two perspectives in it that perfectly tells the story. So the song was actually written by Taylor, Bon Iver, and Joe, and it was produced by Joe and Aaron. And again, this is a story that they basically created, which is really cool. And it's a man and a woman and their exes, and they're watching each other with different people. And it's basically their inner monologue. So it starts out with Bon Iver, who's like playing the man in the song. And it says, I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body, laughing, but the joke's not funny at all. And it took you 5 whole minutes to pack us up and leave me with it, holding all of this love out here in the hall. So I think he's saying he feels like really left by this woman. She just kind of left him for this man. And he obviously doesn't like him because he's like, I can see you standing with him. And when it says laughing, but the joke's not funny at all, I don't know if that means that like she's laughing at his joke and it's not funny, or he's laughing at her joke but it's not funny. We don't know. And then it goes into the chorus that says, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? And I just love that imagery of defending a homeland like in war, but also defending a person. But you're like, I'm not with you anymore, so I don't need to defend you anymore. You were my town, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before. And then it switches to Taylor's perspective, and she notices Bon Iver like staring at her with her new man. So it says, I can see you staring, honey, like he's just your understudy, like you'd get your knuckles bloody for me. Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking branches, those eyes add insult to injury. So she's noticing him being jealous of her and like he wants to fight him for her, but she's given him so many chances and he kept failing. So it seems like she honestly misses him too. And then it goes into the chorus, I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore, so who am I offending now? So she says, I shouldn't feel bad for being with this new man because you and I are done. You were my crown, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before. And then it just goes into this amazing bridge with both of them singing at the same time. So I'm leaving out the side door, so step right out. There's no amount of crying I can do for you. All this time, we always walked a very thin line, so I feel like they were just rocky the whole time. You didn't even hear me out. And then it goes into a point where Bon Iver's singing, then Taylor's singing, basically the same lyrics. So he says, you didn't even hear me out. She says, you didn't even hear me out. He says, you never gave a warning sign. She says, I gave so many signs. And I love this lyric so much because I think it just like perfectly encapsulates miscommunication in a relationship, or like a man not being able to read a woman's emotions. All this time, I never learned to read your mind, never learned to read my mind. I couldn't turn things around. You never turned things around because you never gave a warning sign. I gave so many signs. and then it goes back into the chorus. I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. And then it goes into the bridge again with them duetting, saying, "You never gave a warning sign, I gave so many signs." And this is just such a good song. It's beautiful. It's like the best duet she's ever done, I think. Like, I think it's the best feature she's ever done just because it was written to be with two people. So yes, that is Exile, and the next song is My Tears Ricochet, and there's so much to unpack here. There's so much lore in the song. The song is so beautiful. Just the way it starts, it reminds me of the fall, and it's like spooky ghost vibes to me, so I love listening to it when it's cloudy out. So the song is self-written by Taylor Swift because it's a deeply personal song for her, and it was produced by Jack Taylor and Joe. So in the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions, Taylor says that this song is about a friend that betrayed her in a business deal. So a lot of people think it's about Scott Borchetta, and a lot of people think it's about Karlie Kloss, and I'm not sure who it's about. Doesn't really matter. There's one line in it that makes me think it's not about Scott, because it's just kind of weird that she would say, "I loved you till my dying day," about like someone that she worked with, but we don't know. So this is track 5, and track 5, if you know with Taylor Swift, is usually her most vulnerable, deeply personal song on the album, so this one is really special. And I remember in the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions, her and Jack were saying that it's the best song she's ever written, which I definitely think it's up there. Just the build-up of the song is amazing. The lyrics are incredible. You can really hear her emotion in it. So it starts, "We gather here, we line up weeping in a sunlit room," and I think that means her taking legal action or in some kind of meeting room. "And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too." So she's saying, "You're trying to kill me, I will also kill you. You're trying to burn me down, I will also burn you down. And even on my worst day, did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me? 'Cause I love you, I swear I loved you till my dying day." And I just think that's a weird line to write about her manager. Like, calling him babe, I don't know. I think it's weird, but then she also just could have written that because it sounded good and like not necessarily meant those words to him, but making it more elusive and making it so her audience could apply it to a relationship, maybe, I don't know. And then "I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and you're the hero flying around saving face. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I stayed, look at how my tears ricochet." So the song, "My Tears Ricochet," that means ricocheting is usually used when talking about bullets bouncing off of something that it hit. So she's saying that her tears are streaming down her face and are going back to the person that caused them and hitting them. So the song is about Scott Borchetta selling her masters to Scooter Braun, and Taylor having to re-record all of her albums. So she's saying, "I didn't have it in myself to go with grace." She couldn't just stay in the business deal, and she couldn't go quietly. She was like, "No, I'm going to talk about what you guys did to me. I'm going to raise awareness about owning music and the music industry and tell everyone how bad of people you are and re-record my albums." And it says, "And you're the hero flying around saving face." And I think when she left the business deal, they realized how much they messed up and how bad of a business decision it was, and they actually tried to sell her music back to her, but apparently it was also with a contract that said she could never speak poorly of them, and she was like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna leave and re-record my own music because y'all are horrible and I'm gonna talk about you." So I think it's them like trying to save their reputation basically. "And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake?" So she's like, "If you didn't care about me and you tried to screw me over by selling my masters, why are you crawling back to me asking me to buy them from you again? No. Cursing my name, wishing I stayed," wishing she stayed, in a business with them. "Look at how my tears ricochet." And the next verse is, "We gather stones, never knowing what they'll mean. Some to throw, some to make a diamond ring. I didn't want to have to haunt you, but what a ghostly scene." I love that line so much because she's like, "I didn't want this to happen, but you forced this to happen. Like, what a ghostly scene, just what a haunting, horrible scene. You wear the same jewels that I gave you as you bury me." So this, she's saying, you're wearing all this flashy stuff that you made from my work, Like, I made you so much money from these songs about my life and my feelings, and you're wearing all that money essentially as you're trying to screw me over. And then again, it goes into the chorus. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, because when I'd fight, you used to tell me I was brave. And that's such a good lyric because it really shows the betrayal that happened. So Scott used to support her in the industry and say that she was brave when she'd fight against different things in the industry, and now he's screwing her over. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake, cursing my name, wishing I stayed, look at how my tears ricochet, and I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And you can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. And I still talk to you when I'm screaming at the sky. So she's still just so upset, feels so betrayed by this. And when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullabies. Again, amazing way to say that, like, she hopes he's can't sleep at night because he knows he messed up. And when she says my stolen lullabies, obviously she means her stolen songs. She calls them stolen because he didn't allow her to buy them. And then the end of the song is just so good. It totally builds up to this part. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and so the battleships will sink beneath the waves. You had to kill me, but it kills you just the same. So she's like, I got you back, cursing my name, wishing I stayed. You turned into your worst fears. This is really deep because this means that she knew this person really well, and maybe their worst fears were that they didn't want, like, to become a horrible person in the industry, but they did that, or they didn't want to screw over a new artist. Maybe they told her that, but then they ended up doing it. And you're tossing out blame, drunk on this pain, crossing out the good years, and you're cursing my name, wishing I stayed. Look at all my tears ricochet. So this whole song is kind of like, I was so upset, you killed me, like, you completely ruined everything that I worked for, but I got you back by alerting the media and telling everyone what you did and spreading awareness and re-recording my album. So it's such a cool song, and a lot of songs on Folklore and Evermore are about them selling her masters, which is really cool. But yeah, this song is so iconic. The performance on the Eras tour, if you haven't seen it, is incredible. Yeah, I love that one. Definitely one of my favorites. Then we have Mirror Ball, which is so pretty. Like, the way to describe it, it just kind of makes you want to dance around in, like, a dress. Like, it's just super girly and pretty, and it's a completely different melody than anything she's ever done before. It's not like a normal song melody, if that makes sense. And this song is really interesting because it has a couple different meanings. So she's comparing herself to a mirror ball, and that can mean a couple different things. So one of it that she said is, obviously a mirror ball is a bunch of broken pieces of glass. So she's saying that's how she feels in the media, that everyone likes her the best when she's broken. Basically, she's just this shiny mirror and it's broken into a million pieces, and that's how people like to look at her. And then another meaning is that because it's reflective, it means that you have to be different versions of yourself to different people. So it has a double meaning, which is cool, and you can apply that to your life however you want. So I want you to know I'm a mirror ball. I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. Again, that's like her people-pleasing metaphor, saying, oh, I'll act like you so that you like me. I'll get out on the floor, shimmering beautiful, and when I break, it's in a million pieces. Hush, when no one is around, my dear, you'll find me on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. So again, saying she's acting this way just to make someone else happy. This is the ultimate people-pleasing song, for sure. And then it repeats that part and then says, hush, I know they say the end is near, but I'm still on my tallest tiptoes, spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. I want you to know I'm a mirror ball. I can change everything about me to fit in. And I think this is really interesting because, as we have seen throughout her discography, especially in her first album, she always feels like an outsider, and she feels like she doesn't fit in high school and also in the music industry. And now, because she's so famous, she doesn't feel like she fits into like normal people, which we see a lot in Midnights. You are not like the regulars, the masquerade revelers, drunk as they watch my shattered edges glisten. So she's saying this is probably to Joe. She's like, you don't like to see my downfall or my breaking like all these other people do. And then it goes into the chorus again, and the amazing, incredible, amazing bridge. And they called off the circus, burned the disco down. When they sent home the horses and the rodeo clowns, I'm still on that tightrope. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. So she's saying out of everything she's been through in her career, she still is trying to perform for us and still trying to make us like her. And I'm still a believer, but I don't know why. I've never been a natural. All I do is try. I'm still on that trapeze. I'm still trying everything to keep you looking at me because I'm a mirror ball and I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. So again, she's like, I'm trying to perform for you. I'm trying to make you like me, which is so sad and really vulnerable. And I'll show you every version of yourself tonight. So she's like, whatever people want to see, like I'll do that for you, which really crazy, really crazy. Then we have 7, which is track 7, called 7, iconic. And this song is so cute because when you play it on Spotify, it's like a video of her as a kid. And she said she was inspired to write the song because she was at a grocery store and saw a little kid having a tantrum and kind of just wrote the song about her childhood, which is really cool. So it says, please picture me in the trees. I hit my peak at 7. And the actual video on Spotify is her climbing a tree. So that's really cool. Feet in the swing over the creek. I was too scared to jump in. So it's kind of just about her playing, climbing trees, about her childhood in Pennsylvania, swinging, being by a creek. But I was high in the sky with Pennsylvania under me. Are there still beautiful things? This has a lot of meaning. I think when she says, are there still beautiful things, this album is very depressing. She could have been really sad and saying that she misses the simplicity of childhood and just her being on a swing and feeling like she was so high in the sky with looking over Pennsylvania. She's probably like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to experience anything as simple and happy as that again. And then it just has some memories. Sweet tea in the summer, cross your heart, won't tell no other. And though I can't recall your face, I still got love for you. Your braids like a pattern, love you to the moon and to Saturn. Pass down like folk songs, the love lasts so long. So that could be maybe about a childhood friend. And she said, I can't recall your face because it's a friend that she had so long ago she doesn't keep in touch with, but she has really good memories with them. And then this part is interesting too. And I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house is haunted. Your dad is always mad and that must be why. And I think you should come live with me and we can be pirates and you won't have to cry or hide in the closet. And that's so sad because I think she's, again, I don't know if she's talking to her younger self, but I don't think so because she usually has good things to say about her dad. So maybe this is about a childhood friend, or maybe she's just talking to her listeners and saying, like, I wish I could make it better. I wish you could come live with me and you could have a happy life away from your mean father, which is really interesting. And just like a folk song, our love will be passed on. Please picture me in the weeds. Before I learned civility, I used to scream ferociously anytime I wanted. So that part is her referring to the child that she saw having the tantrum. And then it goes into the chorus again. Sweet tea in the summer, cross my heart, won't tell no other. And though I can't recall your face, I still got love for you. Pack your dolls in a sweater, we'll move to India forever. And I think that's funny because when you're a kid, you're like, oh, you just think, like, learn of a random place and you're like, oh, I want to move there, that sounds cool. Passed down like folk songs, our love lasts so long. And it just goes into the most beautiful outro like I think she's ever done, honestly. And I love the song so much because it's so beautiful. It sounds like a lullaby. Like, I'm like, if there was a Taylor Swift lullaby, it would be 7. It just, the melody, her voice, it's just amazing. Then we have track 8, which is August. So as I said, August is part of the Betty, August, and James love triangle, and August is the girl that James cheated on Betty on during the summer, and it's from her perspective, and she, as Taylor says in the movie, she wants to be the cool girl, knows it's like a casual hookup thing, but obviously really has feelings for him. So this is just such a good summer song because it has a lot of beautiful summer imagery, and if anyone has ever had a summer situationship, this is your song. Salt air and the rest on your door. Again, beautiful, beachy summer imagery. I never needed anything more. Whispers of are you sure, never have I ever before. People think this is alluding to losing your I don't know what I can say on YouTube, but like, are you sure? Never have I ever before. I've never done that. Don't you think it's about that? Because if they're supposed to be in high school, that's what I think. And then it goes into the chorus, but I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time, because it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August slipped away like a bottle of wine, because you were never mine. So she's saying, you were never mine. This, I know I was the other woman. This was a situationship. And it just went by so quickly because it was so amazing. And this is like my favorite lyric in the whole song. You're back beneath the sun, wishing I could write my name on it. So it's like a memory of them, you know, at the beach or just outside laying down. And she wants to write her name on his back because she wants him to be hers. I just love that so much. I think it's so beautiful. Will you call when you're back at school? So she wants him to stay in touch with her. I remember thinking I had you, like she really thought that they would be in a relationship at some point. And then it goes into the chorus again, and the bridge, an incredible bridge, like every single song on this album. Back when we were still changing for the better, wanting was enough. For me it was enough to live for the hope of it all. Cancel plans just in case you call and say meet me behind the mall. So much for summer love and saying us, because you weren't mine to lose. This girl was down bad. She was like, I'm gonna make myself available to this man, and just in case he wants to be with me. It's so sad, because you weren't mine to lose. And then it goes into the chorus again, and then there's an amazing outro that's a fan favorite, obviously. Remember when I pulled up and said get in the car, and then canceled my plans just in case you call. Back when I was living for the hope of it all, meet me behind the mall. And it repeats that over and over again, and it's just a beautiful outro as well. And again, remember this when she's saying, remember when I pulled up and said get in the car, because this is in Betty later, the same lyrics. So it's honestly really cool how she wrote 3 different songs about this one situation. And August was written by Jack and Taylor and produced by Jack, Taylor, and Joe. And then the next song, track 9, is called This Is Me Trying. This one is really sad. And when she's explaining it on the Disney Plus movie, she really was acting as if it was like she was writing from someone else's perspective, but obviously we don't know whose perspective she was writing from. And the song was written by Taylor and Jack and was also produced by Jack, Taylor, and Joe. And this song is about someone that's going through substance abuse problems and is saying that they're really trying to be better, but because they have this disease, they just can't, and they keep letting people down, which is very relatable for a lot of people. And I think it's amazing that she wrote this for those people. So it starts with, I've been having a hard time adjusting. I had the shiniest wheels, now they're resting. I didn't know if you'd care if I came back. I have a lot of regrets about that. So they're saying, I used to be a really good person and this is ruining me. And I know I messed up our relationship. I didn't know if you'd care if I came back. I have a lot of regrets about ruining our relationship. Whether that's family, romantic, friendship, doesn't matter. Pulled the car off the road to the lookout. Could have followed my fears all the way down. So they could have driven off the cliff. And maybe I don't quite know what to say, but I'm here in your doorway, and I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. So this is them apologizing to that person. And that's the chorus, and then we're going to go back into the second verse. They told me all of my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential. I love that lyric so much. And my words shoot to kill when I'm mad. I have a lot of regrets about that, so I think that means that when they're either drunk or high or maybe going through detox, they really say rude, hurtful things to the people that they love. I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere, fell behind all my classmates, and I ended up here again, saying that they were really smart, they were really driven, they had a lot going for them, and then something happened and they just completely screwed up. Pouring out my heart to a stranger, but I didn't pour the whiskey, so that's them saying I'm dumping on someone, but at least I'm not drinking. I just wanted you to know that this is me trying. It goes into the chorus again, and an amazing bridge. And it's hard to be at a party when I feel like an open wound. It's hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. You're a flashback and a film reel on the one screen in my town, which is just them pouring their heart out to someone, saying it's really hard to be around a lot of people when I'm going through a really hard time. It's hard to be anywhere when I just want you and I want our relationship to be better. I just miss you so much. You're so important to me. Blah, 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 blah. You're a flashback and a film reel on the one screen in my town. I think that means that they're like the only person that this person can remember because they're so important to them. And then it ends with the chorus again, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful song. And then we have track 10, which is Illicit Affairs, which is a super fun song. Heartbreaking, but super fun. And this was written by Jack and Taylor, and it was produced by Jack, Taylor, and Joe. And this is from the perspective of someone who is having an affair with what I think is a married person. I don't know if the person coming from this perspective is married. It seems like the person who's singing the song is really, really in love with a married person that she's having an affair with, and is kind of going through like all of her feelings during the affair, and at the end is really angry, and the ending angry part is the best part. If you've seen that in the Eras tour, it's just so good. I want her to like release an angry version of the song. So it says, make sure nobody sees you leave, hood over your head, keep your eyes down, tell your friends you're out for a run, you'll be flushed when you return, take the road less traveled by, tell yourself we can always stop, what started in beautiful rooms ends with meetings in parking lots. And I think this is just all the rules when you're having an affair with someone, to make sure that nobody knows. But it's like you're basically supposed to be invisible, which is really heartbreaking. And that's the thing about illicit affairs and clandestine meetings and longing stares. It's born from just one single glance, but it dies and it dies and it dies a million little times. So I think it's saying that this affair is killing this person a million times because she keeps being let down. Leave the perfume on the shelf that you picked out just for him, so you leave no trace behind. So it's like you can't even wear perfume because you don't want his wife to smell the perfume. Like you don't even exist. Take the words for what they are, a dwindling mercurial high, a drug that only worked the first few hundred times. So it's saying these words are not real, they don't mean anything, they're just for a high, just to make you feel good for like a small moment of time, and then you just feel horrible after. And then it goes into the chorus again, and then the bridge, which is incredible, and you want to scream, don't call me kid, don't call me baby, look at this godforsaken mess that you made me. You showed me colors, you know I can't see with anyone else. So she's saying, you're my person, you just showed me this new emotions that I've never felt before, like this new love I've never felt before. But she's angry at them, so she's saying, don't call me kid, don't call me baby, look at this idiotic fool you made. You taught me a secret language I can't speak with anyone else, and you know damn well for you I would ruin myself a million little times. She is saying, you know I'll do anything for you, but you're manipulating me by giving, like, breadcrumbing me, like giving me little words of affirmation, sleeping with me but not committing to me. It's really heartbreaking. It's really sad. I also feel like this could be relatable for a lot of people, but it's a really, really pretty song. Then we have the song Invisible String, which is clearly about Joe, but we could still love it because it can apply to anyone. And the song was written by Taylor and Aaron and was produced by Aaron. And the whole concept is that Joe and Taylor had an invisible string connecting them their whole lives, and she's kind of talking about that. And at this point she thought he was her soulmate, so she's wondering if there's any signs that she missed connecting them before they did, and just saying that this invisible string is incredible because she found him through it. So it starts with, green was the color of the grass where I used to read at Centennial Park. I used to think I would meet somebody there. So she used to just like hang out in the park hoping she would meet someone. Teal was the color of your shirt when you were 16 at the yogurt shop. You used to work there to make a little money. So it's kind of saying that like while he was working at the yogurt shop when he was 16, she was reading in the park. So that's where they were at that time of their lives. Time, curious time, gave me no compasses, gave me no signs, where there are clues I didn't see. So this is so cool because she's really talking about fate in the song, and she's saying I didn't see any signs, but were there clues I didn't see that would lead me to you, essentially. And isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me? So throughout the past relationships she had and he had with other people, there was always a string tying them together. And I also love how the song sounds because it's so folksy, like the guitar in it, you just feel like you're in a cottage in the woods. It's like so fairy cottagecore. Love. Bad was the blood of the song in the cab on your first trip to LA. So this lyric's really interesting because I think she's talking about her song Bad Blood, and maybe his first trip to LA was in 2014 or whenever Bad Blood was a single. So I think that's really cool. You ate at my favorite spot for dinner. So they had just missed each other because he went to her favorite restaurant, but they didn't know each other yet. And then it flips to them dating. So then it says Bold was the waitress at our 3-year trip getting lunch down by the lake. So they were visiting the lakes in England, and they were at a restaurant for their 3rd-year anniversary. She said I looked like an American singer, and the waitress was like, you look like an American singer. I think that's so funny. Time, mystical time, cutting me open, then healing me fine. So she's saying I was, you know, heartbroken by all these people, but I eventually was healed because now I'm with you. Were there clues I didn't see? And isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me? And then an amazing bridge again, a string that pulled me out of all the wrong arms right into that dive bar. So maybe they met at, no, they didn't meet at a dive bar. I thought they met at the Met Gala. I don't know. But I think the dive bar is like a metaphor for where they met. Something wrapped all of my past mistakes in barbed wire. She talks about barbed wire a lot. It's in Tolerated as well. Chains around my demons, wool to brave the seasons, one single thread of gold tied me to you. So she's saying all of my past demons, relationships, heartbreaks were buried so that I could find you. Cold was the steel of my axe to grind for the boys who broke my heart. Now I send their babies presents. So in this lyric, she's talking about Joe Jonas because she's from Sophie. So I think she sent them a gift for their baby when they have their first baby, and that's just really cute. I love that lyric. Gold was the color of the leaves when I showed you around Centennial Park. So now she's saying this is a place, like beginning in the song, she used to hang out there a lot, and now she's bringing him there. And it's saying gold was the color of the leaves, which makes us think that this was sometime in the fall. Hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. Isn't that hilarious? Like, just dating is hell, but it brought me heaven. Time, wondrous times, gave me the blues, and then purple pink skies. So this is cool because obviously blue is the color of the sky, but by blues in this she means heartbreak. And it's cool, baby with me. Isn't it just so pretty to think all along there was some invisible string tying you to me? So beautiful. And then we have track 12, which is Mad Woman. This song was written by Aaron and Taylor and produced by Aaron. The song is deeply iconic, and I think it can have a lot of different meanings. So it can either be very personal from Taylor Swift about how the media perceives her, but I think it also can be applied to women in general, how men oppress women, pick on women, abuse women, and then when women fight back, they're called crazy, which is just such an amazing concept for a song. So it starts with, what did you think I'd say to that? Does a scorpion sting when fighting back? They strike to kill, and you know I will. What do you sing on your drive home? Do you see my face in the neighbor's lawn? Does she smile or does she mouth, fuck you forever? So I do think from her perspective, she's writing to Scott and Scooter about selling her masters, or anyone that just jokes about her or makes demeaning jokes to her. So if someone thinks it's funny to like make a joke about how many boyfriends she's had, she says, what did you think I'd say to that? Like, obviously she's gonna be rude back to you if you're rude to her. And then what do you sing on your drive home? I think that's interesting because they have all of her stolen songs. Do you see my face in the neighbor's lawn? Or does she smile or does she mouth fuck you forever? So I think this is interesting because she's saying like, do you see me and other people? Do I haunt you? And then the chorus, every time you call me crazy, I get more crazy. What about that? And when you say I seem angry, I get more angry. And this is literally just about men gaslighting women. Like, they'll be like, you're crazy, and it just makes you feel crazier, makes you more angry. And then when they say, you seem angry, like, oh, why are you angry? It obviously makes you more angry. It's just it's such a good song. And there's nothing like a mad woman. What a shame she went mad. No one likes a mad woman. You made her like that. Men make women crazy, okay? Like, these men that stole all of her music from her made her come out and say, you know, bad things against them, and now they're calling her crazy. Maybe they're saying she was overreacting about them selling her masters. And you'll poke that bear till her claws come out, and you'll find someone to wrap your noose around, and there's nothing like a mad woman. So this is also saying that society always needs to have a woman scapegoat that they're making fun of, that they're picking on. And now is the next verse. Now I breathe flames each time I talk. My cannons all firing at your yacht. I love this song too because it just, now that Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is out, it just keeps reminding me of that song. And they say move on, but you know I won't. They're saying you're overreacting. She's like, no, I'm gonna stand up for myself. Like, the song is about her standing up for herself. And women like hunting witches too, doing your dirtiest work for you. So I think this is about a lot of the women that in the media have said like, oh, she runs through guys like a train and stuff like that, or Kim Kardashian. It's obvious that wanting me dead has really brought you two together. So again, she's like, you guys have common ground, that you want to see my downfall, but I'm fighting back. I'm not taking that. And then it goes into the chorus again. And then the amazing bridge. I'm taking my time, because you took everything from me. So they took all of her music, and she's like, I'm dragging this out for as long as I can because you did something so horrible to me, and I'm going to keep talking about it and keep writing music about it. Watching you climb over people like me. She's like, you are doing this to other artists and I don't stand for it. The master of spin has a couple side flings. Good wives always know. She should be mad, should be scathing like me, but no one likes a mad woman. What a shame she went mad. You made her like that. So now I think she's kind of using a relationship as a metaphor and saying that like if a woman is in a marriage and the husband is cheating on her, like she wants to be mad, but she should stay cool because she doesn't want to seem crazy. And that is just such a huge aspect of being a woman, is not wanting to sound crazy, not wanting to stand up for yourself, especially in relationships, like wanting to be the cool girl. And the song is just like about that whole idea, and then also about her portrayal in the media. So it's a really fun, cool song that is deeply relatable. And then we have track 13, which is Epiphany. And Epiphany is really, really cool. And she said in the Long Pond studio sessions that she was learning about, like, I think she had found a family artifact, like a picture of her grandpa or great-grandpa in a war. So she was kind of writing about that. But since this was during the lockdown, she was also writing about the healthcare workers that were traumatized and having a really, really hard time with COVID. And it's a beautifully made song. The melody is so beautiful. It's so specific, and I think that this song really means a lot to healthcare workers. So it starts with, keep your helmet, keep your life, son, just a flesh wound, here's your rifle, crawling up the beaches now, sir, I think he's bleeding out, and some things you just can't speak about. With you I serve, with you I fall down, watch you breathe in, watch you breathe out. So that is about the people fighting in a war. She's trying to think of their perspective from like the photos she saw of her family. Then we move on to more about healthcare workers. So something med school did not cover, someone's daughter, someone's mother. Hold your hand through plastic now. Doc, I think she's crashing out, and some things you just can't speak about. And then it goes into the chorus, which is amazing. Only 20 minutes to sleep, but you dream of some epiphany. Just one simple glimpse of relief to make some sense of what you've seen. So she's saying in the war or in the hospital, you're seeing really traumatizing things all day, and you're just taught how to deal with them, but you're not taught how to like mentally deal with them. So she's saying like, oh, during your nap, during your shift, like you're hoping you can just escape from your world and just dream of something nice, or dream of how to deal with everything that's going on. So I think that's really beautiful. And then it just repeats again. It's really, is it a really short song? No, it's not even short. And then this all kind of repeats again, the same lyrics, so I'm not gonna go through them again, but it's a really cool original song. Again, ties in with the folklore theme, just like kind of random stories that she's writing about from different perspectives. Then we have track 14, which is Betty. And again, this is part of the love triangle that I was talking about. So the song is about Betty, and it's from James's perspective. I love it because it has a really twangy country sound to it, which I think she needs to go back to and explore again, because that would be fun. And this song is written by Joe and Taylor, which is so cool. And it was produced by Aaron, Jack, Taylor, and Joe. So a lot of people worked on the song. And it's just cute. It's from a teenage boy's perspective. On tour, she says that she wrote the song to tell men how to apologize to women, which is so cute. So the song is after his like affair with the August girl over the summer. He's back in school. She found out about the affair, and this is him apologizing to her. So it starts with, Betty, I won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's because of me. One time I was riding on my skateboard when I passed your house. It's like I couldn't breathe. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. So he's really apologizing to her. He feels horrible about cheating on her over the summer. And the chorus is so fun. What if I just showed up at your party? Would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go fuck myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. And then the next verse, Betty, I know where it all went wrong. Your favorite song was playing from the far side of the gym. I was nowhere to be found. I hate the crowds, you know that. Plus, I saw you dance with him. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. And then it goes into the chorus again, which is so fun and catchy and amazing. And then the bridge. I was walking home on broken cobblestones, just thinking of you when she pulled up, a figment of my worst intentions. She said, James, get in, let's drive. So that is, again, this is in August when she's like, remember when I pulled up and said, get in the car. Sorry about my singing. But this is from his perspective, so I just think that that's so cool. Those days turned into nights, slept next to her, but I dreamt of you all summer long. Betty, I'm here on your doorstep. I planned it out for weeks now, but it's finally sinking in. Betty, right now is the last time I can dream about what happens when you see my face again. The only thing I want to do is make it up to you. So I showed up at your party. Will you have me? Will you want me? Will you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends? If you kiss me, will it be just like I dreamed it? Will it patch your broken wings? Again, this is like in Cardigan, how she lost her trust from him and now he's coming back. I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. And here we go to another amazing outro. I love her outro so much. But I know I miss you, standing in your cardigan. So it's referencing that song, which is so cool. Kissing in my car again, stopped at a streetlight. You know I miss you. It's just fun and cute. Like a lot of the songs on this album are really sad, and this is just like a fun one. Then we have track 15, which is Peace, and this is in my top 10 Taylor Swift songs. If you want to watch that video, I'm like crying about how much I love this song, so I hope that doesn't happen right now. This is literally one of my favorite songs ever. It's like so heartbreaking. I love the sound behind it. The sound is just so unlike anything she's ever done before. This was written by Aaron and Taylor and produced by Aaron. We love Father Aaron. And this song is about her relationship with Joe, but you know, it could apply to anyone that she's dating. And essentially she says this in the movie as well. She's like, I will give you everything, but there's always going to be media surrounding our relationship. There's always going to be paparazzi trying to take photos of us. So I can give you everything, but I can't give you peace. And it's amazing. It's so good. Okay. Our coming of age has come and gone. Suddenly in the summer, it's clear. So I think it means she grew up and she's having this realization. I never had the courage of my convictions as long as danger is near. And it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me. No, I could never give you peace. But I'm a fire and I'll keep your brittle heart warm. If your Cascade Ocean Wave blues come. And then my favorite lyric ever. All these people think love's her show, but I would die for you in secret. So this really is just showing like how much she cares about this relationship and how much she's willing to give this person. The devil's in the details, but you got a friend in me. Would it be enough if I could never give you peace? Your integrity makes me seem small. You paint dreamscapes on the wall. I talk shit with my friends. It's like I'm wasting your honor. And you know that I'd swing with you for the fences, sit with you in the trenches, give you my wild, give you a child. And this again is just showing her like dedication to this person. Give you the silence that only comes when two people understand each other. And I love that too, because I feel like this is referencing when you're hanging out with someone and you don't feel like you have to talk the whole time because you're so comfortable with them that you can just sit in silence. Family that I chose, now that I see your brother as my brother. Is it enough? But there's robbers to the east, clowns to the west. So she's talking about paparazzi and the media. I'll give you my sunshine, give you my best, but the rain is always going to come if you're standing with me. And then it ends with the chorus, and you just have to, if you haven't listened to the song, I hope if you're watching this, you either know the album or you're listening to the songs like as I'm explaining them. I feel like that would be really cool. So, okay, only two more. So let's go into Hoax, which is 16. This song is deeply, deeply vulnerable and sad, and I think it's touching on just all of Taylor's emotions as the media is tearing her apart. I think it's after how she felt when her masters got sold, but she's also referencing like how she felt with the whole Kim Ye thing, and how those two things together was just like too much for her. This was written by Aaron and Taylor and produced by Aaron. So it starts with my only one, my smoking gun, my eclipsed sun, this has broken me down, my twisted knife, my sleepless night, my windless fight, this is frozen my ground. So she's just saying, I like cannot believe this is happening. This is far too much for me. Stood on the cliffside screaming, give me a reason, which just means that she was really, really down. And it seems like she was asking for signs as why she should keep going with her career if like everyone hates her and she doesn't even own her music anymore. Your faithless love's the only hoax I believe in. This is really crazy because I don't know if she's saying like she doesn't believe that Joe is in love with her and she's calling it a hoax. It's kind of crazy. Don't want no other shade of blue but you, so no other sadness in the world would do. So she's saying, I'm really sad. This has completely broken me, but at least I'm with you and I'm only okay because I'm with you, which is deep. My best laid plan, your slate of hand, my barren land, I am ash from your fire. And we know that this is about Joe because in the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions, she says that this part is what love really is. Like, who would you be sad with and who would you deal with if they were sad? And then it goes into the chorus again and then a bridge. You know, I left a part of me back in New York. You know, the hero died, so what's the movie for? I think she's saying, like, why do you keep supporting me if my career is destroyed, basically? You know, it still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart. So I think she's singing to Scott and Scooter in this lyric and saying like, you know, I'm still really upset over the whole Kim Ye thing before Reputation and it still hurts and now you're adding to the wound basically. You knew the password so I let you in the door, like I trusted you. You knew you won, so what's the point of keeping score? You know it still hurts underneath my scar from when they pulled me apart, but what you did was just as dark. And then a beautiful last verse for the ending. So it says, darling, this was just as hard as when they pulled me apart. My only one, my kingdom come undone, my broken drum. You have beaten my heart. So she's saying you basically destroyed me to Scott and Scooter, and now she's saying to Joe again, don't want no other shade of blue but you, no other sadness in the world would do. So I only would want to like be sad in this experience with you. Then we have track 17, which is The Lakes, and this is a bonus track on the deluxe edition. It's really cool. This song is about how she doesn't want to be in the spotlight anymore, and she just wants to hide in England in the lakes and write and like be an anonymous poet like all the poets did. This also is a really vulnerable song about how she can't handle the media anymore. So it starts with, isn't it romantic how all my elegies eulogize me? I'm not cut out for all these cynical clones, these hunters with cell phones, which are paparazzi and media and people trying to take pictures of them. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, and my beloved, neither do you. Again, this is also confirming how she feels like she doesn't fit in, and she's obviously not tough enough to be in the spotlight. Maybe she doesn't fit into the industry, and she's saying Joe doesn't either, so they could just run away to the lakes together. Those Windermere Peaks look like a perfect place to cry. I'm setting off, but not without my muse, which is Joe. What should be overburrowed under my skin and heart-stopping waves of hurt. I've come too far to watch some name-dropping sleeves tell me what are my words worth. I love that. She's like, you cannot buy my music catalog. And then it goes into the chorus again, and then an amazing bridge. I want auroras and sad prose. I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years. So I think this is talking about just her being really secret with Joe and not being out and about with him. She's like keeping this relationship very much to themselves and not in the spotlight. And I want you right here. A red rose grew up out of ice with frozen ground with no one around to tweet it. Lied bathed in cliffside pools with my calamitous love and insurmountable grief. The lyrics in this song are insane. And then it goes into the chorus again. And I just love that song so much. It's such a good ending to the album as well. And this song, you can tell she's really happy about how secretive her relationship is with Joe, but it's interesting because now, as we know from Tortured Poet, she called it the slammer. So it's really interesting to see how much her opinion of that has changed. But that is my full analysis of Folklore. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you want to see one for any other album. Let me know if you like this album as well, what your favorite songs are. If you like this kind of video, I will do more of them. But thank you so much for watching. It's just super fun for me to do. I love talking about music that I love. Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!